It's a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me. Our subject, Understanding Culture, Society, and Politics, which is intended for grade 12 or grade 11 senior high school students under the Department of Education of the Republic of the Philippines. Our topic for today, for the 5th to 6th week, the topic is significance of cultural, social, political, and economic symbols and practices. That's a wonderful topic. Thank you for joining me. Let's continue. This topic, I think the first thing we could do is to ask how significant these cultural, social, political, and economic symbols and practices, and why. Right? Before answering that questions, let's consider and let's check the objectives. Okay, there are 4 objectives here. Number 1, identify the human origins and the capacity for culture. Determine the role of culture in human adaptation. Explain processes of cultural and socio-political evolution. Analyze the key features of interrelationships of biological, cultural, and socio-political processes in human evolution that can still be used and developed. See, it's interesting, right? We're going to identify the human origins. Okay, so to consider those things and to connect those objectives, let me ask you how significant these symbols and practices belongs to cultural, social, political, and economic, and why? Maybe our first answer or our initial answer, it's very significant. It's very significant. Why it's very significant? It's because most probably by studying and by identifying those symbols and practices, we will target the first, second, third, fourth objectives. It says here, okay, by looking on these symbols and practices, okay, in our cultural, social, political, and economic, by looking at those symbols, we may identify human origins and the capacity for culture. And another reason why it's important and significant, by recognizing those symbols and practices, we may determine our role for adaptation and survival of human beings. That is our objective number 2. And it becomes our reason why it's significant and important. And number 3, by observing those symbols and practices, we may learn and witness, okay, the evolution of our socio-political, cultural, and our society, how it evolves. And for the last objective, it says here, and another reason for why significant, we may discover the complexity and interrelatedness that may contribute to our development and improvement. I think you heard it clearly. So this topic, which is intended for 2 weeks, I hope that we could fit into more or less 20 minutes. So please join and bear with me. Let's enjoy studying and learning together, especially in this topic, understanding culture, society, and politics. For some people, why these symbols and practices is so significant? It's because it gives meaning and purpose, yes, for us as human beings. It gives value, and it gives us a hint and clue and so many things. Meaning in life, it gives us the identity also as a human being, and the worth, the value, the uniqueness of us being a human beings, not only in contrast to other living beings. So try to look around and identify some symbols, practices, signs that it gives meaning to you, or uniquely it gives meaning to that entity for you to identify the uniqueness. Let's identify some of the symbols around us. Around us, there are a lot of symbols. Traffic signs. There are symbols that gives us idea and clue to slow down, to yield, or to stop, or whatever it is. And there are some hospital symbols, traffic symbols, church symbols, schools, and many things around us. Our national symbols, Philippine national symbols. We have this flag, which is our identity as a Filipino, unique from other flag or emblem of other countries. National anthem, song, our national song. We have this tree, national tree, which I think it's our government declared it as an official national tree. The nara tree. We have this flower, sampaguita, the Philippine eagle, and others. There's a fish, the leaves, and we have this Osiris, our national. So the point there is, around us there are a lot of symbols and signs and practices that gives us an identity as well as value and meaning, worth, and it gives us some pride and dignity. It says here, a symbol is an object, word, or action that stands for something else and represents abstract ideas or concepts that has meaning to people, bound by common cultural, social, and other organizational affiliation or ideology. So symbols could be in our culture, in our society, in our politics, and in our economy. Okay, some examples here. Cultural symbols and practices like handshakes, hand signals. So these things has a meaning for us. And okay symbol or approve symbol. Sometimes that kind of hand gestures, it has a different meanings to others. And we have this under cultural practices and customary. We have this fiesta and some celebrations that I think it's unique only in the Philippines. Okay, what else? There, for some churches, if you see a crescent moon and a star, that represents an Islam. While for Christians, there is the cross. For the Jews, they use this Star of David. So cultural symbols and practices. Okay, let's continue. The social symbols and practices. These are relating to human society and its modes of organization, social classes, social problems, or a social issue. Social symbols may be indicative of the person's social or economic status and may address issues and concerns in the society. Example of social symbols are the white dove as a sign of peace, red heart for love, the traffic signs, health and medical signs, and many more. So those are the examples. And another, it says here, social practices refer to the day-to-day observances that are typically and habitually performed in society. Forms the everyday life of people, and all members of the community are aware of them. Pagmamano as a sign of respect to the elders. So that's it. And okay, other symbols and practices in the political. Our election, and another here, it mentioned here, there's anarchism, fascism, socialism, communism, different practices, okay, in our politics. Yes, those are political practices. Okay, political practices are activities that are associated with making decisions in groups or other forms of power relations. These are the outward manifestations of political culture, which, as defined by Lucian Pye, refers to the composite of basic values, feelings, and knowledge that underlie the political process. So that's it. In the Philippines, one common political practice is having political alliance, also called political coalition or political bloc, which refers to an agreement for cooperation between different political parties on common political agenda. So it's a practice also in our political culture to join, to form an alliance. Okay, continue. In economic symbols and practices, economic symbols, those relating to economic activities such as production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. Among the most common economic symbols are the currencies or money we are using, the value of which varies depending on the economic status of the country. We also hear the stock exchange, gold and petroleum, banking, life insurance, and others. So those are the practices in our economic Okay, so it says here, these symbols and practices in our cultural, social, political, and economic, do they change as time goes by, or they just stay in what it is? No, it's not. So it keeps on changing. Practices 20 years ago, maybe some of them are still here and some are gone, right? And same with the foods, with the symbols, practices. In short, everything is changing. And the idea there, when it is changing, it is evolving. So it says here, there are many theories on how cultural, social, political, and economic practices were established and changed over time. One such theory is the socio-cultural evolution, which was defined as the process by which structural reorganization is affected. So in over time, it really changed. So that is the idea of change and evolution. Our society does change also after the creation. Yes, sometimes people believe on human evolution from single cell, and then it became a monkey after a million of years, and after that, after a million of years, we're here as human beings. But the question there, since our topic is about our what's this objective, it says the capacity for culture, identify human origins and the capacity for culture. We all know that monkeys has no capacity, or animals has no capacity for culture. So only human beings. That is why what I'm gonna tell you now is I don't accept the idea of human evolution, but to the point that there is a change, and the cultures, the economy, our technology, everything around us, it evolves. So that is how I understand when you say evolution. Improves, it develops, and that's it. So human being has the capacity for culture, while animals, they don't have. And what else? Determine the role of culture in human adaptation. Yes. Long time ago, people, they just live in a very simple and unique, okay, kind of living. We as people, we just need very simple basic needs, our food, shelter, and clothing. And as time goes, lalo na sa mga panahon ngayon, parang dumadami din yung ating pangailangan. But yung pinaka-basic natin, yun ang na-mention ko, food, shelter, and clothing. And people long time ago, how they live, I think they just look for food. May mga IPs pa tayo ngayon, indigenous people, which is they just build a simple bahay kubo and stay and live there. And their life composed of hunting and gathering. So they just hunt food or animals and then eat. Ganun lang kasimple. After a period of time, people improve and develop some techniques in gathering and hunting. So they discover the domesticating. Okay, so when they get some animals, maybe they don't kill it right away. They just domesticated it. So there is the pastoral societies. So after the hunting and gathering societies, there is the pastoral societies. After that, they learn also how to plant. Yeah. So they became a horticultural societies. After that, there is the agricultural societies and feudal societies, industrial societies, post-industrial societies, which is nowadays we are in. So those are the evolution of our economy, which is our society, as well as our culture evolves also, and our politics, it evolves also. It goes with. Okay. Some additional ideas for the significance of cultural, social, political, and economic symbols and practices. It says here, symbols and practices portray certain aspects of living, certain cultures and traditions of people. So you can identify if you, for example, in our book there is a Alps man or Iceman, okay, which was seen frozen prison. So you may identify him through his clothes or things he brought with him, and then you can guess where he come from, what kind of culture does that man have, or yes, where could be his ancestors and the possible practices and the way they live. So that's it. Another one, they are used to transfer culture, ideologies, or beliefs from one group to another group of people, from one generation to another. Yes. So that is another significant for our cultural, social, political, economic. And another one, they are also the means to preserve traditions and culture of societies, and they serve as the basis for improvement and development in the society. So new generations, they keep improving and developing whatever the technologies, whatever the culture, whatever the trends, whatever the economy, whatever the living of the society. Okay, they keep improving and changing and developing. And yes, because we believe and we understand that human beings has no satisfaction, and as a human being there is the continuity. As a human being there is a continuity of improving themselves and developing themselves and advancing, okay, in everything, you see. So those ideas and discussions studied by our learned individuals, our sociologists and our anthropologists. But in some reference, I think I have to share it with you. For example, I took the Bible as a source of history. Yes, you will learn and you could picture out big pictures if you take the Bible as your reference. Why? Because in the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth, and there the human being in the person of Adam and Eve in the 6th day, okay, it's because there is a 7-day period in 1 week. On the 6th day, when God created Adam and Eve, there the humanity started. On the 7th day, they rested, and God said, you have to go and multiply. And that is, I think, the idea of the Bible, how human being nowadays. So many. Okay, I think only until there. Thank you for joining me. We'll see each other again next time. Thank you.